Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and we're getting ready to do another video about the Heaven Kit. And on this one, we're going to work on some putting things together. We're going to work on the tabs, and I've got a new idea, new to me, a new idea for pockets that I did for this one that I think you'll enjoy, and just more progress on the Heaven Journal. So let's go, let's do it. Hi everybody, let's get on with this. So these are just kind of the end of the journal things you do before you want to sew the signatures. I went through, going through my pages, and I'll have to make a confession. This is something that I put in my kit, and I thought it was cute to put the hem upside down here. I thought it would look nice. Well, it looks nice. However, it's very misleading, and so it caused me to glue it in upside down, not once, but twice. And so I had to cut it loose, and what I did, because this was on the other side, if I hadn't had something else with words glued to it, it would have been all right. I could have just used it however I needed it to be. But I had this on the other side. So it's supposed to be upside down here, this hem, because here's your pocket, and there's your two up there. So anyway, I had to cut this loose, and I thought I flipped it, but I didn't. So then I glued it back on just like it was before. So then I had to finally cut it loose again and fix it. So I just fixed it with washi tape, and you know, when it's all said and done, I think it'll probably go unnoticed. So anyway, so this is in one of my signatures. So I'm going through just to see, you know, how things look. I haven't glued my pet thing in yet. That will go on here. So that will be, I'll do that. And I looked through, I went ahead and I glued this in here on these pages. And I allowed myself 4 pages for I can't wait to see. So I could put pictures of my mom and dad and all those people up in heaven waiting for me on these 4 pages. You may want only 1 page, or you may want 6 pages. You may want the whole journal to be like this, and that's fine. So just looking through to see what I did. I have this page that I made out of an old music sheet, and I glued it on the back of one of mine and decoupaged it and all that. Well, when I did it, it was a really long piece, and so I left it long because I was going to cut it off and make a pocket out of it. But as I sat here and looked at it, I thought it might be cute to make it into 2 pockets. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it down here and measure it. So it is like 5 and 2 30-seconds, I guess it is. So half of that would be 2.5 would be the half of 5, and then 1 little mark. So this is the middle. So I thought what I would do is just fold this down. Hopefully that's going to be a straight line. And fold this side down. And then I am going to go over to my sewing machine and sew a line right here. And so that'll give me a tuck here, tuck spot here, and a tuck spot here. So I thought that was just something different you could do. So let's see, going through. So this is my center one because I wanted that full sheet to show. Now, a minute ago, I had a page opposite of this ribbon slider, and it had a pocket at the bottom, and it was interfering with this little point. It was starting to catch on it, so I swapped my pages around. So those are the kind of things that you want to look for as you go through your journal before you sew it. And looking there. Then here's the other side of these pages, and I put my I can't wait to meet, and I'll have 4 pages for that. And then here's this triple layered pocket in there. There's a side pocket that I sewed in by just folding over the paper. Another ribbon slider. And then I'm not liking this page at all, but I have, what was it I have? I have something that needs to be glued in. I'll get to it in a minute. And then here is the salvation, one of the part of the salvation folio where it talks about the rapture coming. And so that's that. You just still glue that in. So then this is the other, we'll look at this one. Here's this signature so far. And so I'm looking for things like, you know, do the colors clash at all? Or, you know, just things like that. So I feel like these both are this warm kind of color paper. They go together. One pocket, it doesn't interfere. This doesn't necessarily match anything on this page, but I feel like those warm tones go with it okay. I did sew the button on like I told you I was going to do, and that's to hang a tag on. And then there's a button on this side that I sewed at the same time to hang a tag on this side. Then here's a corner pocket I sewed in. Got the same sort of look here. Feel like, you know, some botanical and some whatever the bug ones are. Those go together. And then the Lamb's Book of Life, I wanted it to be a whole page, so it's in the middle. Some more nature. And the blue corner pocket. And now this side, I haven't decided what to do with this cloth. I need to do something with it, but I haven't come up with anything just yet. I feel like these go really well with that. All ties together. This ties together. And that looks fine. It's bothering me a little bit that I've got a white flash down here, so I may trim that off on both sides and then maybe over here a little bit. So that's that signature. I like to keep big clips on these just halfway, keep something organized, because it can get really chaotic if you don't. This one goes all right. Felt like that goes okay. This is the eco print that I did, the real one. And the blues go well together. And these colors go fine together. These don't really go together, but they're all right. I mean, I think the browns tie it together okay for me, for my taste. I think these colors are okay. Nothing great, but it's okay. And then I wanted this in the middle where you could read the whole thing. And, that's all right. As long as it doesn't clash, I'm okay. I just, I don't like it when things don't, the colors don't look well together. And then here's my circle pocket that I stitched on. So you've got your pocket on the back, your pocket on the front. Same thing on this side, pocket on the front, pocket inside. And these colors I think look really well together. And those look really good together. And that looks good together. And this is, okay, this is the salvation prayers, and it needs to glue in and cover a page up. And I was gonna glue it here to kind of cover the ends of these raffia ribbon that I put on the ribbon slider. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that in while I'm here, because I don't see any reason not to. So might as well be done with it. One less thing to worry about. One less egg to fry, one less mouth to feed. So, okay, so, and just so you know, this is a separate kit, and there's a separate video that we already did this back part, I don't know what part 1, 2, 3, something like that. We put together this because it was separate. It's the salvation prayers, and opens up like this and shows Anne's hand lettering, and then there's places to tuck prayers for your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers, or your family. And then you fold it like a box, and see if I can get this to go right. This circle is lifted up so it will fit down over the middle and be your label. Okay, and then so that's that. So I think the other thing I can do is maybe go ahead and glue this pet folio in, and this is also a separate kit. This is for people who, I believe my pets are in heaven. If you like that idea and you want to see scriptures that I think support that idea, it's a separate kit, and there's a video about how to do it. So anyway, you can write your pets' names on there. It has a tab to glue, and you want to probably, it's not a very big tab, so you're probably going to want to use washi tape and glue. And by the way, I'll just keep saying it for people who don't know, washi tape is not sticky enough to work by itself, so you need to put glue under it if you want it to be, you know, stable for a long time. So I'm gonna put my line of glitter glue, glue this on the edge. Be sure that it will fold up when you do that. It's a little tricky. See, it's not wanting to stick. I'm going to do it from this side. In fact, I think I'll just pull that whole page out. I'm going to stick it flat. See if I can get it to stick that way. You just don't want to stick it in too far, like this way, up against it, because you're unfolding behind it. So this is what I'm talking about with the washi tape. I'm going to put some glue, and I'm going to use a fairly wide, actually I'm going to put a little bit more glue because I'm going to use a fairly wide tape to hold this. And this is some washi tape. This was Tim Holtz washi tape, I believe. Not that it matters, just telling you what I'm using. Okay. So, I don't want to cover that peacock up, so I'm going to move it as far over as I can. Flip it over, unfold it. And then I'm going to put a narrow piece. I've got some metallic that I got at Hobby Lobby that kind of goes with this pattern. I think I'll use that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. And make sure that it folds up when you're done. And this is tight, so that's why you want to make sure you do it before it's completely dry. And I mean, if you have to, I didn't want to cover that peacock up, so I'm gonna keep folding. I'm gonna keep working with it and hope that'll hold it. I think it will. Okay. And you can either fold that tape over, or cut it off. And I'm going to do one on one side, one on the other. Trim it off. And there you go. And then that'll dry up completely. Okay, so that goes back in like that. Okay, and let's see. I'm looking for, I have an idea for a pocket that I want to put in here, and I need like a couple of pages that don't have pockets. So, I mean, there's one here. There's one here. Okay, so I have places, I just want to make sure I had places to put it. But what I'm going to do is I'm getting my scraps out. And I'm going to weave some of these scraps. So I'm just going to take a bunch of different ones. Some are cloth. And I'm going to cut some strips. So I'll be back in just a minute after I've kind of got myself situated here. Okay, I'm ready to start. So what I did is I just tore a bunch of strips of paper and I cut a couple of strips of this cloth that I had. So what I'm going to do is take a washi tape, and I'm trying to pick one that I don't care about that much. And I think to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave these. So I'm going to lay out strips in this direction first. Let me think for a second. No, I think I'll go this direction. And I'm going to try and weave a piece about this wide. So about 5.5 inches wide. So I'm going to leave a little extra maybe to tape. I haven't done this before, so we'll see how this works out. But for now, since they're all curly and everything, and this is straight on this side, so I'm going to start like this. Just going to tape it here. And you have to leave one end open so you can weave. And I'm going to try to vary it, so hopefully these lay together okay. That, yeah, that's wide enough. Okay, just barely. Okay, so let's see how this works. I'll start with one that's fairly straight. This may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I just thought it would be cute if I can get it to work. Okay. All that experience when I was a kid making pot holders is coming in handy now, I guess. I don't know if any of you ever did that. I had a loom that was actually my older sister's. I think it was something from the 60s or something. It must have been popular. They had these little square looms and these loops, and you could weave pot holders. And I used to weave those pot holders, and then I would walk around the neighborhood and sell them for 50 cents a piece. People were nice enough to buy them from me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tape that just to stabilize it a little bit. And let's see, take this one and then go the opposite direction. Okay, so I'm pinning this over on the side with my hand so I can pull this over as far as I can. And pull these in tight together. So you want to be this way and this way. And then what I think I'm going to do is glue them to a piece of paper. So I'm going to cut a piece of brown paper and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've cut this piece of brown paper. Just cut the chunk off here. And assuming that I want this side to show, cut this ribbon off. I want this side to show, so I'm gonna glue, let's see, this is gonna be a little tricky. I think what I'll do is run a piece of tape down this side over here to stabilize it. So, and then fold this back, put this down here, make sure this is wide enough, and just trying to decide, maybe I think I'll use fabric tack on this. When your fabric tack gets thick, which mine is, you add a little bit of acetone to it and thin it down so it's the right consistency. I don't have any acetone. It needs to be 100% acetone is my understanding. So I need to order some or go to Walmart and buy some so I can thin this down. Hopefully this works. Okay. Might have been a good idea to tear this roll of tape off of here before I did that. Okay, so I'm just gonna push that. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'll come back and cut it apart and put it in my journal. Okay, back to this. So it's drying, and I've decided what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it over to the sewing machine and I'm gonna stitch it in the triangle shape and here and the triangle shape. Then when I cut it apart, the stitching will hold it together a little bit better. It's got the paper on the back. If you don't sew, I think I would probably take washi tape on the edges, go ahead and cut it apart, and then maybe run washi tape all the way around the edges just to hold it. Or if you just glue the edges really well, and once you cut it apart, any loose edges you could just glue with fabric tack so it's stable. But I'm gonna do the sewing, so I will be back. Okay, so I'm back, and I sewed it. And you can see on the back better how I sewed it. I sewed it up and down around the sides, and then I sewed off the corner just slightly, turned it around, and went along the side with the foot of the my sewing machine foot and spaced it out. So here we'll go. We'll see if this works. So what I'm going to do is cut in the middle. And then I'm going to cut, I may trim it more, but I'm going to cut along this. I may have been pushing it using that thick cord, but we'll see. My poor sewing machine. I sewed through tape and glue and all the stuff that you're not supposed to sew through, but fortunately I don't have an expensive sewing machine, so I'm not really worried about it. Okay, so there's my pockets. What do you think? By design, and then alternate them, like, you know, one out of this color, 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 and then start over again so that they're all different. Looks like I still have a few to cut out. So that's the next thing I'm going to work on. And whoops, I'm going to come back. I'm going to cut away now, cut away and cut these out, and then ink these up, and then I'll be back just so you can look at them and one more time before I glue them in, and then I'll glue a few in, and that will be the end of this video. All right, I'm back, and I got all excited. My hands are really a mess now. So before I go back to the pockets, I just want to say I inked these little tabs, and I did not expect to be so excited about it. But I just love them. I put like 2 colors on most of them. But, oh my gosh, I got this Wild Honey the other day. And, yeah, Wild Honey Distress Ink. And it's this one right here. And I just, it's just so pretty. I've used it several times now, and I'm just so impressed with it every time I use it. Because it's, you know, it's a darker color. It's not super bright, but it just is, oh, I don't know, it's just so pretty. So I did that color on those. And I also used some of the fossilized amber on those 4 with the golden pattern. And then the other one I got, with that same one, I got a set of 4, is this Forest Moss. Oh, so pretty. I got a little carried away with it. So I put that on all of these ones that have like jungle vines and things like that, and some of the orange ones. And then I used the chipped sapphire, which is that dark blue right here. I went over my blue ones. I don't really feel like I have exactly the blue I need, so I mixed chipped sapphire, and I did some of the Mermaid Lagoon on these. I missed that one, looks like. And green would have been really pretty on that too, but I mean, you know, they're tabs, so I'm gonna try to calm myself down here. But I did the 2 blues on the sky ones, and these ones with this blue pattern, and this dark blue I did just the chipped sapphire. So anyway, I just think they came out, for most of them, just came out really pretty and just really added to the look of it. And then let me get these out of the way. I really didn't intend to go on and on about the tabs and the distress inks, but I thought they came out so well, I wanted to make sure and call it out. So here's the other pocket, and this was the ugly page I had a little bit ago. It was just some gray spattering, and so I went back over and I used my I think it's called Worn Lipstick Distress Ink, and did a stencil, a little bit pinker than more intense than I intended, but it works out, and especially across from this page, it came out really well, and it has it woven in here. So anyway, put some of the mica spray. I don't know if you can see the iridescent on it, but put some mica spray on it just for fun. And then I stitched this pocket on. So there's that pocket. I'm going to cut away again, and I'm going to glue some tabs on just so you can see what they look like, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've been tabbing just so you can see what it looks like. And it's something you could do certainly after you've got your signature sewn together and everything. Anyway, I just wanted you to see kind of what they look like. Now, I had some lace on some of mine, and I don't have enough tabs to do every single page, but I kind of just went ahead and put them in order, and just so you could see what they look like. Oh, and the other thing you have to be careful of is this one. I didn't want it all the way up there to obscure that quote, so I moved it down just a little bit. But the other thing you have to watch out for is tabbing two pages together. And if you've ever tabbed a Bible, you know how that is. I always tab at least 2 pages together when I tab a Bible, and so today I did the same thing with this. So be sure, because this glitter glue, man, it dries quick. So okay, that's it for this this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And also, please click like if you did, and think about hitting the subscribe button. That really helps me out. Thank you.